Hey, how's it going? Mrs. B here. So today we're going to be factoring trinomials in a special form. A special form in that the coefficient of the x squared is going to equal to 1. When this is the case, these are easy peasy to factor. But before I show you the rule, I'm going to try and attempt to show you why the rule is what it is. So if we go to our tic-tac-toe grid here, recall that I like to have my first term in the middle, last term at the end, and on the diagonals, you're going to have your oi. Oi on the diagonals. Oi. So what does that translate to if I want to try and put this trinomial into the grid? Well, it means that I'm going to have an x squared here. The whole lesson is going to be of trinomials in which this is the case. This is non-negotiable. It will be an x squared. Well, maybe I'll have an a squared or a m squared, but it'll be a variable squared in the middle. And so working backwards, in order for this to be an x squared, that means that this and this has to be an x, because these two have to multiply to that term there. Now, what else do we know about this? Well, we know that the constant term, that's our last term, that's going to be our plus c. So that means if I work myself backwards, that I'm going to have to take some number, I'm going to call it n1, and another number, n2, and those two numbers combined, this n1 times n2, that has to multiply to the plus c. So that's going to be our first rule here, is plus c. C is equal to n1 times n2. And our goal is going to be to find those two numbers. Now, let's fill in these other two blanks, the oi in FOIL. So this is going to be an x, let's start this again, n2x, and this is going to be an n1x. Now, what I know about these two is that these two combined, if I add them together, that has to be my bx term. That's the oi in FOIL. Because if I come back to here, this is my f, this is my l, and in the middle term, this is the o and the I. That's the oi in FOIL. Okay, so in other words, we have to find two numbers that are going to multiply to the last term, but add to the middle term. So let's do some practicing on finding those two numbers here. So I have a little exercise here. I even have this here. I find two numbers that multiply to n1, multiply to that last term, and add to the middle term. So let's give it a go. What two numbers multiply to 28 and add to 11? Now, here's the thing. If your times tables are great, you're going to just put in those two numbers there. But if they're not so great, or if the answer doesn't pop into your head, I'm going to offer what you can do off to the side. Just do a little multiply to table on the side, and we're going to stop when we get two multiply to numbers that combine to 11. Always start with 1 times that number. So 1 times 28 is 28. Can 1 and 28 add to 11? I don't think so. Let's go to the next multipliers. 2 and 14. Well, 2 and 14 can add to 16. They could add, if I had a -2 and a -14, they would add to -16, but that's not 11. So let's keep going. 3 doesn't go into 28, but 4 sure does. And ding, 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 plus 4 plus 7 equals our target of 11. So that means that these two numbers here, those are the winning numbers. And it doesn't matter if you put the 4 first or the 7 first, order doesn't matter. What I would like you to do right now is I'd like you to try and finish filling out this chart. Okay, so pause the video and see how many of these you can find on your own. Good luck. Okay, I thought I'd do the last one with you. Check your answers here. I thought maybe 54 was going to cause some grief, so I did my little chart on the side, and it's going to be negative 54. In order for two numbers to multiply to negative, it means one has to be negative and one has to be positive. And so I stopped once I got to a potential combination here. Now, if you're struggling with this, let's go through the process one last time. So with 56, what two numbers multiply to 56 and add to negative 15? Well, if they multiply to a positive number but add to a negative number, right away we know for sure that they're going to be two negative numbers. So let's just add those in right now. And let's just start at the top. 1 and 56. Can I combine those to get 15? Nope. I'm just going to keep on going. What's half of 56? 25 plus 3, 28. Can I get 15? Not quite. Does 3 go into it? No. 4. I don't think 4 goes into it. Does 4 go into it? 4 goes into it once. Ooh. I think it does. 14 times. Does that work? Go to 15? Don't think so. So we have to keep going. So 5. 6. Ooh, how about this? 7 and 8. There we go. Ding, 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 ding. Negative 7 times negative 8 is equal to positive 56. But negative 7 plus negative 8 equals to negative 15. And that's why those are the two numbers. Okay, we have to take this skill now and transfer it to our factoring. So I have the steps on the side. Feel free to refer to them as you go. The first thing that I like to do is, the golden rule of factoring is to always check for a GCF before doing anything else. And in the first 3 examples, there's no GCFs. I have some GCFs coming down here though. So let's go to step 2. Set the stage. Get out your brackets, get out your variables. So I know that this trinomial is going to fall into that general pattern. That's the stage. I just need to now fill in what my two numbers are, my n1 and my n2. What are those two numbers? Now, to keep yourself organized, you can do this in your head or you can make a little chart. So what multiplies to 12 and adds to 8? We need to find two numbers that do that. Remember, I could do a little multiply to add to table. It's two numbers that multiply to C but add to B. Okay, we'll just add that to our Q column here. Okay, so what are those two numbers? Two numbers that multiply. How about 6 and 2? 6 times 2 and 6 plus 2. I think that works for me. So I'm just going to put a plus 6 and a plus 2. It's always a good idea to give that a FOIL and make sure 6 times 2, there's your 12. X times x is x squared. And then just check the OI. Plus 6, 6x. 2x is 8x. We are good to go. Let's box that up. Okay. Let's just set the stage for these last ones. Okay. X, just get it ready to go. We like to GSTA these guys. What that means is go straight to answer. Okay, there are other ways you can factor these, but they all take way more time. So we want to go straight to answer. The way we go to straight to answer is we're going to complete the multiply to adds to table, what multiplies to the last term and adds to the middle term. Okay, so you fill out this table, put your answers in to your two spots, and let's see how you do. Good luck. Okay, hopefully you got what I did. The B and C were pretty much the same question. The only difference was that the middle term here was positive and the middle term here was negative. So you really have to watch your signs. Always do a FOIL before you move to the next question. Now, what's tricky about these two at the bottom is that there is a GCF that needs to be pulled out first. Okay, so what is common between these three? Looks like it's a 4. So I'm going to bring that GCF to the front and leave everything else that isn't common behind. So minus 8x plus 12. Now what you're going to do when there's a GCF there is you just keep bringing it down. We still set the stage, x and x, and we now complete the multiply to add to table with just what's inside the brackets. So what multiplies to 12 and adds to negative 8. We're going to put our answers in here and here. What I would like you to do is do that and then try and do B from start to finish without any of my help. Okay, so pause this video and see how far you can go on A and B. Good luck. Okay, there you be. Hopefully you got what I got. I didn't show my multiply to add to table on B. Again, this is totally optional to do this. If you can do it in your head, that's where we want you to be. You set the stage and you just ask yourself what multiplies to 10 and adds to 7. 5 and 2 are the clear answers there. If this was a test, you're going to check using FOIL. For your homework, please check your answers as you go. Don't wait till the end of the assignment to check all of your work at the end, because if you're doing the same thing wrong multiple times, we want to find that out earlier rather than later. So please, when you start your assignments, mark as you go. You do a question, check the question, and if you can't figure out where you went wrong, please let's deal with it right away. Okay, good luck and happy mathing.